But yeah, we're about to see Tier 2 by the Space Marine, so he'll bust out with some cool stuff, and we're about to see Tier 2 by the Chaos, so he'll bust out with some cool stuff. So this match is about to heat up. It's going to be hot, hot, hot at 7 minutes 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, hot things. You ever notice how on this map it looks like there's a bunch of rose petals falling from the sky? It reminds me of that cutscene in Warcraft 3 when Arthas returns after being like a jerk. And there's like rose petals falling. So that's an insight into my mind, and we have these grenades flying at absurd ranges to nail the Space Marine from afar. He really needs to close in on these heretics, force the retreat. That's what he did on that other squad, so I guess he really wanted the power node, and that's a fair choice. I can understand really trying to harass the power. It would behoove him to get his flame tax over to the power farm on the left and hit that. Okay, so now we have a Nurgle worship up. We don't have Nurgle worship going on anymore. That heals your units around it, heals your demons, heals your normal people too. That's the only chaos worship that heals normal people. Really didn't get him anything. His heretics are just forced off, and now we see the downside of relying on heretics. They pretty much are incredibly weak. They're fantastic Tier 1 units, all things considered. They're like the weakest in fighting of any Tier 1 unit, but they have some fantastic abilities, and those grenade launchers are ridiculous, but relying just on them is a little egregious. It's not going to get you the kind of benefits you would think you might accrue, but that's okay, because now we have bloodletters, so he's just going to run around hitting people with giant flaming swords while the heretics make cheering noises in the background. That fuchsia generator is an ugly color. I don't think fuchsia looks good. Oh wait, no, that's a purple generator, because the Space Marines capped it. I wonder who applies the paint when the Space Marines cap that generator. That would be an interesting job. I wonder how much money they make. The Plague Champion has upgraded the armor of the Pestilence. That is 600 extra health, basically doubling his health, and immunity to knockback. And he can also discharge gas around him that damages people, so basically an AoE attack. But like I said, Space Marine has moved on this left power, and he's also very interestingly flaming those generators. I think that's probably a good move. He's not going to be able to hold this left power for long, so he should really be focused on taking out those generators. And you just see how quickly the Assault Squad forces the retreat on these heretics. They can't do jack once the Assault Squad comes out. We also have a Dreadnought out, Tier 2, by the... Oh wow, look, he built a heavy bolter turret with his Plague Champion. That's something the Plague Champion can do. He can build... He's basically a Techmarine, only more of a melee Techmarine if you upgrade him with a sword. But yeah, heavy bolter turret not going to do anything against the Dreadnought. So as soon as the Space Marine player sees this at 9:39, 40, 41, Chaos has got to be back to square one. It really doesn't have any anti-vehicle capabilities. I mean, his bloodletters are the only thing, and that, frankly, you don't want to be in melee against a Space Marine Dreadnought just with bloodletters. I mean, that does not seem like a winning proposition. But Space Marine player seems to be cowed, seems to be scared off by this heavy bolter turret. Don't think he has to be, but that's what he's letting happen to him right now. So he's just he's building a little teleport relay beacon so he can heal up right here. That's going to be kind of annoying. He's going to be under constant fire from these heretics. But, you know, that's whatever he wants, and he can retreat to that, he can heal up by it, he can reinforce by it, so that's a very nice forward base for him, and he's going to be rewarded for that, I would say, because Chaos player is not being aggressive enough, or if he is being aggressive enough, he just can't be aggressive enough. He's not powerful to be aggressive enough, because he's really being forced back to his side, having always to defend his power, having always to set up heavy bolter turrets and try and defend against the Space Marines, and really Chaos on the back foot this entire time, because he's relying so much on heretics, which are definitely powerful units, and they can, if used right, they can do some fantastic things for you, but they're just too weak to stand up in a straight fight on their own doing nothing. And speaking of doing nothing, Chaos was just idling around this heavy bolter turret. He's really on the back foot, way too much on the defensive. Needs to capitalize on his masses of heretics and start capping some stuff, because this fight is never going to turn for him. He's got Plague Marines out to try and take on the Dreadnought. Those are the anti-vehicle Marines for the Chaos, but we'll see how well that works. Really, Chaos just on the back foot this entire game, and I'm predicting a loss for him because he just can't get his momentum going. If you let the Space Marine player have this much of the map for so long, he's just going to get more resources, he's going to get more units, it's going to get harder to push against him. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse, but we'll have to see how this works out. Space Marine actually flaming the power farm down and also took the node down, so this is looking worse and worse for Chaos, and Space Marine can just retreat, bam, right back to the beacon, although he is being attacked from like one screen away by these heretics. It's just kind of ridiculous, and boom, jump, and forces a retreat. So the eternal jump force retreat, heretics can't stand up to anything, and here's the assault at 11:50, 51, 52. This is exciting. I can't wait to see what happens. Dreadnought is killing everything. We've got worship. No, yeah, we've got worship going on, so that's going to heal his stuff. But he's really getting rickrolled because the Dreadnought just uses that skill that stuns everyone around him, and basically chaos is fucked. I think. Looks like things not going so hot. I don't know what that Space Marine was flaming. Who just died? I don't know what are the Plague Marines shooting at? Plague Marines are shooting. I can't even tell what's going on. This is too confusing. But especially because everyone's wearing power armor. Techmarine was like right in the middle of all the worshipping people. This guy runs his Plague Marines in, and that actually works out pretty well because when Plague Marines die, they explode and hurt people around them. So that hurt quite a few scouts, and the scouts almost died. Oh, scouts did die. Those are scouts fighting on the side of the Plague Marine because he resurrected them with his little sword thing. But Scout Squad does not die. He reinforced at the beacon, and so just narrowly kept from dying. Interesting to see the Plague Marine resurrecting dead enemies to fight on his side for a few seconds, but definitely not enough to help turn the tide of that battle. Chaos got roundly trounced. He had no chance, basically. The only anti-vehicle he had was Plague Marines. Those really not going to stand up against the Dreadnought, especially when he moves them in so close. I actually saw the scouts repairing the Dreadnought halfway through that fight, so that was interesting. Space Marine player, whenever he feels like it, can just walk in with his Dreadnought and kill that heavy bolter turret, and I don't know why he's not. Both players really spending a lot of their time idle, not doing things, so maybe they've got more important things on their mind that I can't really tell.